Are you ready for another how did they turn out? Today we're going to be talking about this guy. He's number 3. He is our guitarist, and he is on the other side of the country right now. But I wanted to talk about him in a different light. Isaac, our number 3 child. Oh look, I can fix this right while I'm looking at myself. Isaac, my number 3 child, came right at the crossroads of homeschooling. A lot of things happened as Isaac entered the world until he was about 3. So number 1, he was our surprise 3rd child. It was hard for us to have kids at first. And so there's a 5-year gap between the first 2. There's a 3.5-year gap between Micah and Isaac. And so 2 and 3. And then suddenly we had this beautiful child, Isaac. He's our fair-skinned boy. He's our blonde child. He has, some of our kids look like my side of the family. Some of the kids look like my husband's side of the family. And then there's Isaac, and he just looks like this. He's an outlier. Beautiful child. When he was little, I really struggled. When he was about 18-ish months old, that's about the time that we came home to officially homeschool our kids. But there was a problem. I couldn't walk because I was pregnant with number 4. And from the moment of conception, my body kind of falls apart and I'm not able to walk without great pain and difficulty. So Isaac entered the scene while we were entering homeschooling at home. And suddenly I'm trying to teach, trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing with homeschool, and I can't move very much. And the other thing that was going on in that season of life was my house was a disaster. I repeat, I do not have the gift of organization. So it was right about this time. Isaac was about 18 months old, so I must have been about 6 months pregnant with the next one. And my husband lovingly traded with another husband. He would help them with their computers, and his wife would help me with organization. Yeah, I had a heart attack. This was not on my agenda. I had no intention on having somebody enter my chaos, but there she was, this beautiful woman. So picture this. I'm about 6 months pregnant. I can't walk. My baby is, he was a fearful little thing, and he had a temper. Oofed. He had this like switch-like temper. So when things were good, they were very, very good. But when they were not, he was horrid. So I look around in the chaos and I embrace this season of organization. This friend was a true godsend. She came into my house and we would pick up something and she would say, "What is this?" And I would say, "It's a figurine." She goes, "Okay, put it in the figurine pile." And we went through the house completely and totally. What's this? Is it a toy or is it a keepsake? And she had me line boxes down my hallway, and we went through every shelf, every drawer, every nook, every cranny, and we categorized the house. And then once we had piles, she helped me look through those piles and create order from the chaos. It was a beautiful season. Right at the same time, though, I'm dealing with this child that was independent but clingy, confident but insecure. He was really challenging for me. Right at that same time, so there's a couple collisions that happen all at the same time. Not only was my friend a wizard organizer, but she and her best friend and a couple other gals would come. We would get together once a week and let our kids play. These women were amazing moms, amazing educators, amazing homeschoolers, just amazing people. And I went to what I would consider to be a master level education on parenting and homeschooling. What to let go of, what to cling to. One of those moms in that season, I remember one of her kids spilling something on their shirt, and she's like, "That's okay, a shirt has 4 sides." I'm like, "What?" She's like, the front, the back, the inside front, the inside back. Parenting. So here's Isaac. He is a emotional child. We're organizing the house. I need to keep him safe. We did a lot. Make that capital L-O-T, a lot of playpen time or crib time or high chair time. And I remember talking with the mom that did the shirt thing. I'm like, I feel so guilty. He spends so much time in his high chair, so much time in a playpen. And she's like, Bekki, she goes, what are you feeling guilty for? And I'm like, well, he doesn't get down. He doesn't get to play that much. And he doesn't get to play on the floor. She goes, look at him. Is he content? Yes. Is he safe? Yes. So what she said, what you're actually telling me is that you're having him learn self-control, keeping him safe, and he's happy and well, and you feel guilty? Yeah, that's the moment I lost the guilt. It was fantastic. And that's the beauty of having mentors in your life. It's why we do have our Homeschooling Olympian program, so that this gray hair can pass on confidence and grace and wisdom to younger, newer families like these women did for me. So Isaac, 18 months, that's when we organized the universe. It's when I learned about self-control. But I was also dealing with a child that had complete irrational fears. This child suddenly and without warning became terrified of umbrellas in a downpour in front of Michael's, the craft store. I remember this because I was scarred for life. It's downpouring and I get him on my hip and I pop open the umbrella and he looks at the umbrella and immediately reacts as if it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex dinosaur and it's about to eat us both alive. He had the biggest terror panic attack that I had ever seen. That was the first thing that he was irrationally afraid of. The second thing that he was irrationally afraid of, suddenly, right about the time he turned 2, maybe 3, balloons. Seriously? He terrified of balloons. So we learned some creative parenting because of this child. I had to get an umbrella and I had to open it and leave it in the corner of the house far enough away that he could exist and he would be in the room with the umbrella like this. He couldn't handle it. And every day, inch by inch, I would bring the umbrella close. After a couple weeks, he was playing with the umbrella like it was his favorite thing on the planet. Same thing with balloons. I went to the craft store and I got a big Mylar balloon, and I tied it at the end of the hallway or somewhere in the corner of the living room. And every day I inched that balloon to where we were existing, like in the kitchen. Eventually, I tied it to his stroller, and somewhere, I couldn't find it, but somewhere there's a picture of him holding balloons like this. Because who's afraid of balloons? Okay, so he had these irrational fears. He had his early childhood where he was taught self-control by having to sit in a high chair a lot during the homeschool day. He also, as he was there, I wasn't as mobile, and the puppy has decided now is a perfect time to play with that rope. He's like, yes, this is fantastic. Mom's talking, so I'm gonna play with the rope. So he was the one that we learned a lot of these things. That's the beauty of having a ton of kids, is that you get to learn a lesson and then apply it to the next one. I think everybody should have 5 sons. I just do. So what else? So it was during his early childhood that's where a friend helped me organize the house. And I'm still not a gifted organizer. However, I'm able to keep the house in relative order because of the things that she taught me in that season. And praise God, I gave birth to a natural organizer. The youngest, we'll get to him eventually, and he has the ability to look through chaos and to immediately categorize and organize and clean, and he's amazing. I'm gonna miss him very much when he moves away. Okay, so back to Isaac. what worked for Isaac was a lot of hands-on activities. Once we got into the school ages, he's a natural leader, but he also has that hairpin anger issue, because he knows what to do. It's right, do it, or I get mad. So we had a lot of role playing sessions about practicing when you're making a decision and you're giving direction and somebody doesn't do what you wanted. How do you respond? How do you not respond? Lots of role playing about that. We did a lot of group projects because our youngest 3 are pretty close together. So again, 5 years between the first 2, 3.5 years between the next 2, and then Isaac, 18 months to Sam, and then 2 years to Stephen. So these guys are our 3 musketeers, and we did the same math, the same history, the same lessons together. We did lots of projects, lots of hiking, lots of unschooling looking type things until the kids got to high school. Isaac has the privilege in our home of being the first child that we homeschooled right through high school. Well, until they got to their junior year. So his freshman and sophomore year, I was terrified to teach high school because I thought, wow, I really have the ability to mess up these kids for life. Isaac taught me it wasn't a big deal, and we were successful with teaching a freshman and sophomore year, tailoring it to their needs, and then all 3 of the younger boys finished high school through the local community college and got their associate's degree. Big whoop-de-doo, Beck, I know. College is not for everybody. It was for our boys. So we did lots of hands-on projects, lots of group projects. Isaac also has the distinction of being our musician from infancy. He would do things, even snapping. He would do them obsessively and keeping rhythm, and he would do it until he mastered it, and then he would just do it all the time. Even when he was older, you know that shuffle dance, whatever it's called, the one where you go back and forth. Oh, he still does that to this day. It's very rhythmic and it's very musical oriented, like it has that pattern and rhythm to it. He would play with things where he would click them together, just rhythm. By the time he was 12, he started playing the guitar, and now he's almost 22 and he's a master guitarist pursuing a degree to be a worship pastor, and he is incredibly gifted and talented. I'll actually link, he's shared a couple videos out on YouTube, and I'll share a couple of his links below. Isaac was born in a season of my life where I was sad. I was very sad. I don't know 100% why. I can't put my fingers on it, but it was a very dark season for me. And I remember specifically praying that the Lord would give me joy. This is the season that I got one of those Polar Express style bells. This is a true story. A Polar Express, a little mini bell, and I wore it around my neck like a necklace. The jingle was to remind me to smile, because my children needed me to smile. It reminded me that I was looking for joy. And when I got pregnant with Isaac, I wanted to name him Josiah. And my husband said, his name is Isaac. And I fought it a little bit. I'm just gonna confess, I did fight it a little bit, but then I relented, like, okay, it's fine, whatever. Isaac means laughter. So here I am praying for joy, and God gives me a boy whose name means laughter. And to this day, Isaac only really speaks if he's confident he's gonna make you laugh. When he was really little, he would fake laugh until it caused everybody else in the room to laugh hysterically, and then the family would have a laughing fit. And it would always start the same way. Isaac, stop. Isaac, stop. Isaac, stop. Isaac, stop. And then we'd all just be rolling on the floor. Amazing. Child number 3 is also another season, that same season where I was struggling with joy. I remember having him in the car as an infant. Maybe it was his other brother, the next brother, I'm not sure, but Isaac was little. I remember being at church and screaming at the kids in the car. Screaming at the kids in the car. I was so mad. And I turn and I look, and one of my friends, who is the sweetest, most godly, most humble, most gentle person on the planet, people on the planet, was right there on my window. And I burst into tears because she caught me in the middle of my conniption fit. And she got me out of the car. She gave me a big hug. She didn't say much. And then over the course of, I think it was the next day, she showed up at my house. Knock, knock, knock. This is what love looks like. Knock, knock, knock. I open the door. I'm like, hey. She goes, give me all of your laundry. I went, what? She goes, give me all of your laundry. And she wouldn't leave until I gave her every stitch of dirty laundry in my house. She goes, I'll bring it back later. She brought it back clean and folded and ready to be put away. She just loved on me. It was that season in life with Isaac that I was really struggling. Who am I? I was struggling with doubt. I was struggling with discouragement. I was struggling with chaos and clutter and confusion and anger. I was probably my ugliest version of myself in that season of life. And yet the Lord met me in that season. He gave me homeschool mentors, he gave me parenting mentors, and he gave me friends that just loved on me, even in my ugliest state. Now, I'm just gonna throw this out there because you may be in that same season that I was in 20 years ago. And I want you to know it's common. We lose it. Us mamas do not have it all together. We just don't. We're not always rainbows and sunshine. We don't always say, praise the Lord, when the kids dump milk all over the dog who is running through the house, shaking the milk all over the walls. We're not always our best versions of ourselves. But it's so important. The lesson that I learned in that season of life was that mentors, people that have gone before you, that you can pattern your steps after, are priceless. And if you're paying attention, they will show up. You can start praying right now that the Lord would give you a mentor that helps you with, and then fill in the blank. It could be infant nap or sleep training. It could be meal planning. It could be organizing your house, or how to homeschool high school. If you're looking for help with homeschool in general, we have a Homeschooling Olympians membership program I would love to talk to you about. Reach out. I know a lot of people. So if you need something, please let me know. So anyway, that's Isaac. In a nutshell, he turned out pretty great. I'm thinking right here, I've got another picture. Do I have another picture? I'm gonna look at this little dude. Ready?
I mean, look at that dude. Isn't he cute?
Yeah, all the kids they're just amazing. But it was hard work. And Isaac really was on the teeter-totter of my life being out of control and chaotic, tipping back into joy to where I started to feel like, okay, it's gonna be okay. And so anyway, it is okay. We did get through. I did learn the lessons, and now I get to share them with you. So anyway, that's child number 3. And I would love to hear about your kids below, what you think. And soon I will roll around and do child number 4 and 5.